What's up, boys? I'm back with another setup of the day video. Today was definitely tougher to trade, but I'm going to show you guys how I created my plan. Best setup of the day, even though I would say there was two setups and they were both very mentally taxing is what I'll call it. So let me just get right into it. First, I'm going to start off by pulling up my pre-market plan that I drop in my Discord every single morning. My pre-market plan for today was, there's nothing on the calendar. I'm not interested in playing longs unless we break basically the balance that we've been in this week, which was, I had it from 57 to 61 in this case. I wanted to see 57 to 61 break and be supported to get long. To the downside on the bottom end of the range, I wanted to see, I changed my plan actually from this. I wanted to see 39 to 34 break to get short, targeting 62.20 first, but ultimately for a strong move all the way down to 6,200. And on top of that, for the downside to be sustained, I need VIX to be above 19. So that was my plan for this current session. Now you can probably see on the left side of the screen there, I did take one trade for a small 2-point loss. And I'm going to walk you guys through what that was too. But this is what happened. So here is my planned level that I told you guys I changed. So it was the previous week high at 39.25, just call it 39. And then this was the bottom of balance or the edge of value right at 34. So I have it marked up, a few ticks higher, but whatever, same shit. Basically, for the downside, I want to see this break with aggression and then resist to play short. That was my plan for the day. To the upside, obviously, we were at the bottom of the range that I can show you guys real quick. So whenever we're in a range, first of all, balance range rules, you want to basically fade the extremes. And I actually kind of went against my plan, and I did go against my plan today, and I took one trade. It wasn't the worst trade, but I did technically break my plan. And since we're in a balanced range, basically you're kind of looking to get long at the bottom of the balance until the balance breaks. So that's one way my plan could have definitely been better today, is if I would have just said, I want to get long at 34 to 39 unless it breaks. So that's one way I could have been better today, is just making my plan align more with balance range rules. Instead, I kind of was playing, instead I only really planned for the breakout of one of the other sides. So whatever. But anyway, that's my plan. This is what happens. So since we were in this balance right here, you can see that by looking at the session profile. I was looking for high day fails and low day fails. We already had a ton of delta buying up there that I was viewing as potentially getting trapped. So what I wanted to see was this 50 order fill, and then immediately I wanted to see aggressive selling step in and take us back down. Preferably it would have been into the 48s, but obviously that did not happen. So I took this as soon as this 50 filled and we had this selling come in right here. I took it short, and I could show you guys my fills. My fill was at 49.50 and I stopped out at 51.75. So a 2-point risk essentially, or 2 and a tick point risk. So I mean, not the end of the world, but it did not align with my plan. And I avoided the first setup because it didn't technically align with my plan. I should be able to avoid this one too. But since it was a balanced session, I was possibly seeing, all right, maybe we could get a move down to the low day and then possibly get an LVN created here to either stay in it for some runners, or like I probably wouldn't have re-entered, but looking for an LVN down here at the low day possibly. And basically in my head, my thought process was, all right, maybe if VIX heats up a little more, we can get that pressure. And that was my thought process behind the trade. So honestly, I'm not too unhappy with it. I mean, it was a 2-point risk. So if I would have hit the trade, it would have been almost like a 9 to 10 R multiple trade. So that would have been good. But anyway, yeah, stopped out on that. I pretty much walked away. I called it a session. I'm done trading after this high gets taken right here, I believe. An LVN gets formed, and then, we're just slowly grinding up for another 15 minutes. I don't know what this was. I think this was a headline, but you get a surge of aggressive selling. And then one thing I did notice is that within the LVN, there's some bids coming in here and supporting at 54.50 And then we got one here at 54.75 right here that fills. So it definitely did not get followed up by the aggression exactly, but the bids filling is at least one piece of the puzzle you could have taken it long. And if you were long right here, I would have been able to target, I would have wanted to target up to 70. So you can see it has been almost an hour since that setup happened, and we're still only like 5-6 points above that entry if you took that LVN setup. So it was definitely an unfavorable day to trade in general, but there was definitely a little bit of a nice opportunity, I guess, at the balance range low and the previous week's high. So like you got the key levels, you got the CVD divergence. This would have been a good entry, but I mean, to sit in that thing for an hour to get 10 points would have sucked. And that's pretty much the theme of the day, just pretty much a slow grind up. And you can see sellers are getting stuffed right here. So who knows, maybe you do get a eventual, so who knows, maybe eventually you get a nice move up to that 52.70, which would have been my target. But yeah, so like I said, one way I could have been better today is just by avoiding that high day fail scenario, because it was not aligned with my plan, and I do not want to be in the habit of taking setups that are not aligned with my plan. I do kind of like I want to be flexible. I want to be dynamic at the same time, which is, it's kind of a balance, just like with everything in life. It seems like I'm trying to find the balance between being flexible and being creative, and also, not getting in the habit of doing things that are going to basically, I don't want to get in the habit of doing things I shouldn't be doing. But I mean, like I said, I'm not too unhappy about that entry I took today. 2-point risk, like I'm fine with that. The plan definitely could have been better just by acknowledging we're in this balance range. I should look to fade the extremes until something else happens. That's what my plan should have been. Instead of just only having scenarios for the breakouts, I could have had like, all right, I want to fade the extremes until we break out of balance. That's what it should be every time there's a balance. Pretty buns day to trade, if you ask me. Who knows how later on in the day it'll be, but if you guys like these videos, please subscribe if you haven't already. Obviously, like the video. If you want to join the Order Flow Mafia Discord, it's free. Hit the link in the description, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.